Make way for Noddy. Noddy on the move. It was a sunny day in Toy Town, and Noddy and Master Tubby Bear were in Noddy's little house for one. "I wish we could go somewhere exciting," said Master Tubby Bear. "Me too," said Noddy. "But we never go anywhere," said Master Tubby Bear sadly. Noddy looked out of the window. "But we can," he grinned. "I can move house." Master Tubby Bear was very upset. "But Noddy, you can't leave Toyland," he cried. "I won't leave Toyland," explained Noddy, laughing. "I'll go and live in another part of Toyland. I could live near the ice cream parlor." Tubby Bear smiled. "And then you'd get ice cream every day." Noddy was so excited he couldn't wait to find a new place to live. "Will you help me, Tubby Bear?" he cried. "Oh, yes," said Tubby Bear. "It's moving day for Noddy." Big Ears was cycling peacefully down the road when he heard the sound of Noddy's car. Big Ears couldn't believe his eyes. Noddy was pulling his little house for one along on wheels. "I'm moving," said Noddy proudly. "But Noddy," cried Big Ears, "what's wrong with where you used to live?" "Boring," laughed Noddy. "Now I'm going to find the perfect place." And he roared off down the road. Said Big Ears thoughtfully. "The perfect place, eh? I wonder." Noddy was so excited at the idea of moving that he couldn't help singing. "Watch how I move my house for one. Life will improve, moving is fun." Noddy and Tubby Bear went to tell Tessie Bear all about their moving plans. "Why don't you live next door to me, Noddy?" said Tessie. "Then we can have tea together every day. We can feed my chickens. That's funny. Where are my chickens? They were here a moment ago." Noddy and Tessie Bear hunted everywhere, but the chickens had completely vanished. Then Master Tubby Bear opened the door of Noddy's little house. "Here they are," he cried, "and they're making a terrible mess." "What can I do?" cried Noddy. "You've put your house where they live," said Tessie Bear, "so they think it's their house." "But I don't want to live in a chicken house," said poor Noddy. "It's no good, Tessie," said Noddy sadly. "I shall have to move." Master Tubby Bear and Noddy climbed into Noddy's little car and set off again. But Noddy soon cheered up and he began to sing. "I'll find a spot meant to be mine. I'll smile a lot, moving is fine." "There's Mr. Sparks' garage," said Tubby Bear. "Why don't you live next door to Mr. Sparks?" "What a good idea," said Noddy. "I'd love to have him as a neighbor. He's so good at fixing things." Noddy and Tubby Bear had just parked Noddy's house when all of a sudden there was a terrific noise. Boom, boom, whew! Noddy's house bounced up and down. "What is that?" cried Noddy. "It's Mr. Sparks working in his garage," said Master Tubby Bear. Noddy looked a bit worried. "I expect I'll get used to it," he said, but he couldn't help thinking how nice and quiet it was where he lived before. Then they heard the sound of a horn. "Pop!" "What's happening?" said Master Tubby Bear. Noddy ran to the door and looked out. There was Mr. Sparks in his big tow truck. "Oh, Mr. Sparks!" cried Noddy. "I'm your new neighbor." "But Noddy," cried Mr. Sparks, "your house is in the way. I can't get out of my garage." "I'm sorry, Mr. Sparks," cried Noddy. "We'll just have to move," said Master Tubby Bear. "Right away." "Never mind, we'll soon find the perfect place," said Noddy. "What about Town Square?" "Why didn't we think of that before?" said Tubby Bear. "You'll see your friends every day. Everyone goes to Town Square." Noddy was very happy. "It's going to be perfect," he cried. Noddy and Tubby Bear were looking out of the window at Town Square. All of a sudden there was a knock at Noddy's front door. "My first visitor," he said. "I wonder who it is." It was Mr. Jumbo. He walked straight in, and before Noddy and Master Tubby Bear could say a word he took out a picnic hamper and began to unpack it. "Mr. Jumbo!" said Noddy, amazed. "What are you doing?" "I have a picnic on this spot in Town Square every day," he said, "and now your house is here I shall have to sit on your floor." "Oh," said Noddy, "I suppose so. Perhaps Town Square wasn't going to be such a good idea after all." Just then they heard loud, squeaky giggles getting closer and closer. "Who's that?" said Tubby Bear. Crash! A crowd of blue, green and pink bouncy balls whizzed into Noddy's little house and started bouncing all over it. "Didn't you know?" said Mr. Jumbo. "The bouncy balls practice bouncing here in Town Square every day." "But I live here now," said poor Noddy. "That's not going to stop the bouncy balls," said Mr. Jumbo. "Noddy!" shouted a voice. Oh dear, more trouble. It was Mr. Plod. Noddy opened his door. "Move, in the name of Plod," said the policeman sternly. "Town Square is a no-house parking zone." Noddy looked at Mr. Jumbo spilling crumbs on his clean floor. He looked at the bouncy balls whizzing in and out of his windows. And he looked at Mr. Plod's cross face. "All right," he said. "I really wanted somewhere a bit less crowded." But it wasn't that easy. Everywhere seemed to be full up. Some time later Big Ears met a very tired Noddy and Tubby Bear driving down the road. "Still moving house?" asked Big Ears. "We've been moving all day," said Noddy, "but there were too many chickens and too much noise." "And too many bouncy balls," said Tubby Bear. Big Ears thought for a moment. "I do know somewhere you could try," he suggested. "A very pretty place, with no chickens and no bouncy balls either." Wearily Noddy and Master Tubby Bear followed Big Ears, and a few minutes later they arrived. They were back exactly where Noddy had always lived. "Oh, Big Ears," laughed Noddy, "it's the best place in the world." "Are you sure?" said Master Tubby Bear. "I've been moving all day," smiled Noddy, "and I know now that this place is perfect."